Just outside of Los Angeles, you'll find a haunted hill where ghost children push your car out of the way of unseen danger. Thanks to their tiny hands, vehicles that visit Gravity Hill in Altadena, California, are pushed to the top without having to step on the gas. Many people have experienced this haunted hillside and have been left amazed by the creepy phenomenon. What's going on at Gravity Hill? The Gravity Hill urban legend is one of many creepy legends from California, and reports vary on just how it came to be so bizarre. Some suggest the Gravity Hill myth began after a school bus crashed, killing all its passengers, while others believe it was a distracted driver who killed a group of children. Whatever the true tale may be, the events that take place on Gravity Hill are both unsettling and unbelievable. Is there a scientific explanation, or is the site purely paranormal? Even if you don't believe in ghosts, the story of the haunted hill will make you wonder. Visitors to Gravity Hill notice something eerie. Although they are facing uphill when their vehicle is put into neutral, it will begin moving forward on its own. A writer at the blog Haunted Los Angeles decided to put this spooky story to the test. I got in my truck and put it in neutral, and sure enough, it was moving. What's interesting is it seems the higher it gets up the hill, the more speed picks up. The phenomenon happens on both sides of the road and apparently works on rolling water bottles as well. While experiencing your vehicle moving on its own is already creepy, the legend of Gravity Hill gets even creepier. One theory suggests ghosts concerned for your safety are responsible for a vehicle's movement up the hill. They are trying to push you out of danger. Looking for proof of ghostly interference? Sprinkle some baby powder on the bumper of your car before going up the hill. Small handprints will supposedly appear. There are numerous stories about the origins of the ghosts of Gravity Hill, and several of them have to do with a group of dead school children. In one version, a school bus had broken down and a group of children were waiting for a tow truck in the shade. As they stood on the side of the road, a car came around the corner too fast, didn't notice the kids, and hit them all. Another story claims the school children were all killed when their bus had an accident on the hill. And a third legend revolves around a joyriding teen who lost control of her car and fatally crashed in the same spot. Yet another story emerged about the origin of Gravity Hill's haunting, this time involving an old Native American man. A woman who grew up in the area remembers. This road used to be used back in the day by people who travel in their horse-drawn carriages and such. An old Indian man was crossing the bridge and cornered too fast, causing him to crash into the side of the bridge and plummet to his death in the shallow riverbed below. Legend has it that his restless spirit remains to prevent such an untimely death from happening to anyone else who crosses this bridge. His spirit pulls you back up the hill to prevent you from going too fast around the curve and crashing to your death. A blogger at Haunted Los Angeles took some paranormal recording equipment with them on a visit to Gravity Hill and made a few intriguing discoveries. The blogger used an EMF detector when asking the spirits basic questions and witnessed several spikes in the K2 meter. They also attempted to speak with ghosts using a SB7 spirit box, which uses white noise sent through radio frequencies to allow spirits to communicate. When the ghosts were asked if they were responsible for pushing the car, one replied, "I drove." A ghost also said nothing had happened at the location and implied there might be evil spirits lurking somewhere on the hill. Navy B wrote about her experience visiting Whittier Gravity Hill, just southeast of Los Angeles. 3 of my friends and I decided to do something unforgettable for once and not stay home, watch a movie, or go out to a fun place like we always do. So my friend Nancy mentioned that we should all go to Gravity Hill. Let me just say that the time was 2:30 a.m., and without hesitation we all agreed. As we drove there, we were all very excited because we had heard so many stories about this place. But as soon as we got to the turn point, I got a very uneasy feeling, and so did the other girls. It was 4 of us in the car. Upon arriving to this mysterious place, first thing you see is a cemetery and a big, white building. It almost looks like an insane asylum in the middle of a graveyard. I swear to this day that I saw someone or something walk across the cemetery in front of us, sort of like a shadow or figure. We stopped right next to the cemetery, turned off the car, but we left it in neutral and waited in the pitch black. Within 5 minutes of sitting and looking around, the car started to move uphill by itself. We looked at each other in disbelief. We got so scared. I kept my eyes looking straight ahead because I was afraid to look outside the window, thinking I might see someone next to me. My friend Nancy, who was driving, panicked and decided this was it and wanted to get out as soon as possible. She tried to speed out, but the car would not go more than 20 miles per hour. Remember, this is a brand new car, so this kind of thing should not happen. We were terrified and she was freaking out, as were the others. She had her foot all the way into the pedal, but the car wouldn't budge. Our bodies felt heavy, almost like the gravity was pulling us back, but we were far from the mystery point where the car moved on its own. I started to pray in silence because I couldn't stand the heaviness of my body and fact that we were going nowhere at that speed. Believe it or not, the car did not go any further than 20 miles per hour for about a mile. My friend Kathy, who was sitting behind me, said that as we passed the last turn she saw a figure standing next to a tree, so she closed her eyes and started to pray until we got out of the hill. Stories of ghosts pushing your vehicle are told all over the United States. In San Antonio, Texas, a group of ghost children protect a railroad crossing and are said to push cars out of danger. At the Tucker Cemetery in Austin, Texas, it's believed spirits will give you a push if you flash your vehicle's lights indicating distress. Other stories feature grown-up spirits, like those that supposedly haunt Soldiers Delight, a Maryland hill that a Civil War battle was fought on. These ghostly soldiers are rumored to mistake your vehicle for a cannon and push it up the hill. And back in California, a friendly priest ghost in Moreno Valley will push you up Priest Hill. These stories are all great reasons to carry baby powder with you in the trunk. There are actually gravity hills all over the world, with at least 20 in California alone. Sometimes called mystery spots, many of these bizarre locations have become tourist attractions. Others are on residential streets in the middle of suburbs. Most of these strange hills have a paranormal story to go along with them. Gravity Hill is in Altadena, California, just north of Pasadena and located at 1054 East Loma Alta Drive. According to Weird California, there should be evergreen trees to your left with something that resembles a flood control channel past that, a wall of rock and dirt to your right. If you go over a bridge after curving to the left, you've gone too far. Because this Gravity Hill is basically a residential street, there's no admission and you can visit any time. However, if you want to make your trip even scarier, go at night when the ghosts really come out to play. While the idea of a hill where gravity works backwards is exciting and creepy, science says there is a logical explanation. Gravity hills appear to work backwards due to an optical illusion. Thanks to surrounding colors, the direction of the light source, objects on and surrounding the hill, and an off-kilter horizon line, your eyes can easily be fooled. In the case of gravity hills, what appears to be the bottom is actually the top. That explanation may not be as fun as ghostly activity, but it doesn't negate all the spooky tales drivers have shared over the years.